Did you know if you build your highway a certain way, or better yet, give them what they need in order to follow their rules, and I'm talking about the Asians, that there's a form of highway etiquette that happens? Especially with interchanges, which is the only thing they need to deal with on the highway. This is how this etiquette works. They're allowed to use whatever lane of the highway that they want. But of course, the traffic that wants to get off at the next off-ramp needs to merge its way into the first lane. Anyone who doesn't want that first off-ramp is asked to leave that first lane before they get to the off-ramp, which means that first lane is clear from that off-ramp or after that off-ramp and past the following on-ramp, right? That's done on purpose so that the people that are getting onto the highway don't end up in a collision situation with the other people that are in the first lane, because ideally there should be nobody in that first lane. That's why they're getting on so easily, right? And this is a busy chunk of traffic, and they don't even as much as slow down getting onto the highway because there's nobody in the first lane. There's nobody to challenge them for that lane. Now this traffic over here, if it wants the next interchange, it follows the rule. Stay in that lane, and as you get closer to your next exit, or the next exit, if you want that next exit, well, then you merge down. At the same time, all these people that are getting onto the highway, well, they've been given a turn arrow, which tells them to stay to the right until they need to leave the lane. And they need to leave the lane if they don't need the next exit. So, if we follow these folks, a lot of them don't need the next exit. They want the following one. So a lot of them will pop out of the lane to go to that one there. The only traffic that is in this lane is traffic that wants this off-ramp. I'm so sure of this that I could go right down there and stand on the road. Am I in that lane? I am in that lane. And be assured that none of these vehicles, see, he changed out, none of these vehicles are going to run me down, because the only traffic that's in that lane is traffic that wants the off-ramp. Everybody else has been asked to move to the second lane. And if they want the following on-ramp, or sorry, off-ramp, then they lane change back. But they don't lane change back until they get past this on-ramp. Then if they need this lane, that's when they're asked to change back in. I wonder if we're going to catch anybody. I wonder if I'm near a node. There we go, there's the node. Alright, they're doing their lane changing after the on-ramp, which is supposed to help traffic get onto the highway. And as you saw, it does. Now I can imagine very few people have ever witnessed this happen in their city. And even in my city, I have recorded it, but there's many times where it doesn't hold true. I put a 4-lane here thinking that it'd be a nice idea to have an exit lane for this ramp, which would leave the 3 lanes of the highway. Now, it's not like they don't recognize that there's 3 lanes of the highway, but you see, they didn't need to follow the rule of get out of the first lane and come back in after the on-ramp because I added a lane. Well, that causes a problem. Because they didn't have to follow a rule here, because I changed that rule here. No, they want. Let's try to find somebody who wants to get past here. This is what's going to happen. Because they weren't told to leave that lane in order to leave it for the exit and to leave room, they don't. Now fortunately this on-ramp is not incredibly busy, but if it was, it would end up being a collision point. Or, yeah, a confrontational point. Right, because there's people in the first lane here, and if they meet up right at that intersect, well, we know what happens there. One has to give way to the other. But if you give them what they need, that won't happen. What I'm going to do is, see, we're quite clear that out of the 3 interchanges, this is the only one that has vehicles in the first lane approaching the on-ramp. I'm going to change that. First, we're going to confirm. There's nobody in this one. Not sure how long we should wait, but I'm pretty sure that should be long enough, especially given the amount of traffic. Oh, that was different. So they do know how to break the rules. And then we saw out here, nobody gets in their way as they come onto the highway. Nobody at all. They're in the 3rd lane, they're in the 2nd lane, but never are they going to be in the 1st. I shouldn't use that word never, seeing that we found somebody that broke the rule down there. Alright, so that one's operating that way. This one's operating the same way for the most part, except for that one truck. But this one doesn't. Oh, I wonder if that one vehicle messed up because of this. This one doesn't observe the same rule. Right, there's people in the 1st lane. And if this on-ramp was as busy as the one down there, yeah, this would be a collision spot. So, by taking this out and putting it back to what it was before, it'll restore the rule that they understand. See how quick he figured that out? Almost immediately. It's like, whoa, I'm in the wrong lane. No one will use this lane now. Until they get past this on-ramp. And somewhere here there's a node. You'll recognize it sooner or later. Actually, no, this is pretty much over. There we go. Wow, he changed right there. Maybe I should stretch that node out. It's a fragile rule, but it's a rule none the same. If you give them the pieces they need, they follow their rules. There is structure to the game. It's not broken. Just possibly sensitive. Did you know they could do that? Did you know they would do that? Till next time. Ciao for now. Have fun with City Skylines.